We're going to see a flop here. Oh, wow. It's a great spot to be in to not be a part of this hand.
Of course.
I just want to thank Sam Greenwood for this hand, though, because this is a hand that shouldn't have happened.
And there's just absolutely no way.
Ace, king.
Raise 175.
I kind of feel like... Wow, Greenwood just folds the king 10 immediately. I kind of feel like every time you suffer a beat, you like wake up with a big hand. Like, not every time, but like way higher percentage of the time. Live cards against ace king, man. 4 in the window, 3 right behind it. 2 pair for Tang. Nut flush draw for Kenny.
This is a good flop for Bryn Kenney. He's got 2 overs and ace high flush draw. It's also a board where the big blind actually misses usually. So he is going to fire a bet. A just call here.
I do think in a lot of spots you do want to play your 2 pair pretty fast, but I think that's a great point, Randy, with how deep they are. You know, you don't necessarily want to get a bajillion chips in the middle on this board, and this is a real ugly turn card for Danny Tang.
And then just get a bet on a river, or bet now. Try to make it look like he's on a bluff. Because a lot of players on the turn, when it comes 4 diamonds, is bet the ace of diamonds or no diamond. Because if your opponent's only betting an ace of diamonds or no diamond, you got the best hand. And you can improve against the ace of diamonds in case you are behind.
You can improve against the ace of diamonds. I forgot about that. 5 diamonds out there now.
It's actually not a good card for Danny, because if he was trying to bluff catch, well, now he plays the board. So if he calls the river bets just for half the pot.
He's bluff catching for half the pot.
Correct. Just trying to figure out what to bet. Usually players who bet the turn with the ace of diamonds will always, I mean, even as a bluff, will always follow through on the river.
They will also follow through on the river as a value bet. Bryn Kenney has put him in a very difficult spot.
I think the problem is that the 5th diamond makes it, like I said, you're only calling for half the pot. If it didn't come the 5th diamond, I think you have a better case for maybe hero calling off.
You're playing against Bryn Kenney, and he's perfectly capable of betting on a bluff there, trying to bluff you off a chop.
Zengaku, you said it best, my man. I'm not going to repeat that on the air, but well said in the chat. We're going to see a flop here. Oh, wow, what a flop. Talk about a setup here. We got an open-ended straight draw for Badziakouski, top 2 for Bryn Kenney. Pot is 600,000 chips. Check, a bet, a call. Pot is 1 million chips. Badziakouski hits a pair of 7s. Gives him a couple of more outs. That's not the card he was looking for. The only question now is, will we have a new one? And Badziakouski, after check calling the flop, leads out on the 7. Kenny makes the call. Never looks at the board. Doesn't take his eyes off of Badziakouski. I don't even think he knows he has a full house yet. 2 million in there. Kenny bets about half the pot. Badziakouski has been in the tank for just about a minute. It appears most of these players have plenty of time bank cards left, though. Certainly some draws missed. Queen, Jack, diamonds. Obviously, Badziakouski with just a bluff catcher right now. As he approaches 2 minutes. Nice laydown there by Badziakouski.
How many was it?
Pocket kings. Looks like he's going to slow play here. I like the slow play. I think this is a much better play than 3-betting not all in. If you are going to 3-bet, you should just shove because it's too suspicious. Disguises his hand. Paul's trying to put himself in a position to chip up. Of course, he could accidentally bust, but he's trying to win this tournament. Flop is an ace, unfortunately for him.
Certainly one of those situations where we like the decision, but not the results. Unfortunate for Paul. Checks through. His pot's 930,000 already. And if Bryn's aces hold up, he'll be up over 6 million chips.
It does check around pretty quickly. He's got 2 opponents. Bryn Kenney should be betting to protect himself against some inside straight draws, a jack. Paul is actually in a tough spot. It's pretty hard to fold pocket kings here. Your hand seems pretty disguised. You know the chip leader is going to stab.
Paul's going to call once. Paul does have the king of spades, which some of Bryn's bluffs might have the king of spades in it.
You can take that. Yes, thank you.
Board pairs, and Bryn's kicker doesn't play, but I think he knows his ace is good.
Yeah, so he's got 2 options. Does he value bet to try to get a jack to call? Or does he check and try to get 2 spades to bluff at it? He is going to bet pretty small here.
Targeting that jack.
He almost accidentally called. I think he knocked his chips over.
Fit myself.
King Jack would really be the only hand he'd value bet, right?
He's going to make the call and see the bad news.
Kings.
Oh. Trying to trap me. Not a good day for kings.
So he did try and trap. Let's Bryn Kenney get there with the pair of aces.
Of course.
If Bryn understands the situation and realizes that his opponent's probably doing this with aces or kings, well, I have a king, so I block that. It's really nice, you know? Speaking of queens.
But Kenney, he's going to trap here with pocket queens. And the other players might think that this looks weak because Kenny's been just shoving a lot. Doesn't really make sense for him to start limping all of a sudden. Actually flops top set. Paul's got middle pair.
He might go with this, right?
He only has 995,000 remaining. Just shoves all in. He's in big trouble.
Oops. Drawing dead to running 4s.
0.1% chance for Paul Phua to stay in this tournament, or he'll be the 6th place finisher.
Yeah. Paul has 2 outs on the turn, and then if he hits one of those 2 outs, he has to hit the other out on the river. Does not hit it, and he is out in 6th place. Randy, what does he win?
He wins 560,000. He did profit in this tournament. He was in for 4 million Hong Kong. He won 400,000 Hong Kong. We'll be making another all-in play. 3, 2, 1. Come on, Greenwood. Oh, never mind. Did he just call here? That is
looks
super
like it.
sneaky. That's very unexpected. I'm surprised. He had 11 big blind stack. Greenwood is the one that is most unpredictable from what I've seen. And he's created a lot of opportunities for himself. Sometimes it didn't work out. Curious to see how this develops.
Hey, I think it's a sexy play. Anytime you can think outside the box and kind of mix up your play,
3, right? You started.
It's certainly interesting to watch.
I'll tell you this. The blind should be kind of terrified that he limps here because they probably don't have much experience against an 11 big blind limp in the cutoff.
Yeah, this is not a hand they would put him on, I would imagine. The problem is, no matter what they put him on, yeah, they're terrified, but at the same time they have top pair, so they're not going anywhere.
So he is going to bet the exact minimum, hoping his opponents just fold.
I just want to thank Sam Greenwood for this hand, though, because this is a hand that shouldn't have happened from an analysis standpoint. This should be a shove, fold, fold, and we move on. But Greenwood is so creative. He limps in, and now we have a very intriguing hand to kind of talk about.
I don't think he knows what this actually means. And a player who has limped and bet the flop has gotten called by a player. This King 9's tough spot. He's going to go for a check raise, it looks like. It's almost a check raise min.
Like, what are his bluffs?
I mean, I'm not saying it's likely. Of course, it's possible. But maybe he's... Wow, Greenwood shoving all in here. This is a very sick hand. I don't think Tang can go anywhere, but he's got to fold this hand. And I tell you, Greenwood's
playing his hand like if I was at the table, I'm thinking Greenwood has aces. He has to have aces, right?
looks like he's got aces. He doesn't even have close to aces. Greenwood on some next level poker right now. I don't see how Danny Tang can continue here because it's too likely one of his opponents has a big hand. There's a chance Danny goes with it, but he's got to be worried about Badziakouski. He's only got 12 big blinds. He's getting a count. Now the thing Danny's thinking is, can Greenwood be bluffing here?
This is so cool.
He actually is.
Yeah, it
He's
looks
gonna
like
fold.
nobody can be bluffing.
Sam, you have aces, right?
Yeah, he thinks he's got pocket aces. One ace.
7, 10, 13, 14, 18, 7 to 18, 1, 2, 2.5.
I'll tell you what he's thinking about. He's wondering if he's got the odds against aces, even though he doesn't have aces.
Sometimes I'm having better hands.
But he makes the call anyway.
Oh, nice.
Look at him. Look at his face. His face just lit up. He's like, whoa, wait, I'm ahead? This is amazing. It is Greenwood
Well, actually, it didn't.
who's at risk here. He's all in.
Yeah, that's right.
So much potential.
Only an ace will save Sam Greenwood. That is not an ace. That is not an ace. Couldn't tell exactly what it was, but I knew it wasn't an ace. 5 of spades on the river. And in one of the coolest, weirdest hands I've ever seen, we get an elimination, and we are down to 4. Sam Greenwood gone in 5th place. What does he win, Randy?
He wins $720,000. Everyone gets a $200K US pay jump.
Bryn Kenney raising King 4.
Love to see Mikita continue in some fashion.
He is indeed. He ain't folding. He's going to see the first 3 cards, otherwise known as the flop. And 10 high flop, and it's a pretty good pair of 10s.
Kenny probably wants a continuation bet because the big blind in general is going to fold so much. They're not going to float as much because of how short the other players are.
Oh, Bryn may have walked into this one. Just so happens to continuation bet into top pair.
10 seconds.
That's a fairly dry board. I don't know how many 5s and 3s Mikita's supposed to have in this spot. Bryn having to contemplate whether or not he wants to try to double barrel what hands he thinks will fold now that didn't fold on the flop. And apparently he thinks there are some, but this is not a scare card for Mikita. $945,000.
That is some pressure.
The bet from Bryn.
Knows the 6 is a clean out. The king When, like we've been saying over and over again, there's a guy with 10 big blinds left. He is going to make the call here. One more card to go, 16% for Kenny.
So when Bryn gets called twice here,
He puts him on a 10,
he's got to put him on a 10, right?
at least. But most of the time, let's just say like 80
Sure. When
something
we
percent.
say, yeah, I mean, look, we never really talk in absolutes, even when we say never or always, or we really are talking about most of the time, a majority of the time. And Bryn catches a pair on the end. There's a 4-card straight board out there now.
Can Kenny make the bluff shove? That'll be so sick. It's unlikely. 5-6 probably thought of fold. Oh my god.
He does, in fact, go for it.
Bryn Kenney.
Bets the vast majority of Badziakouski's remaining chips. 1.5 million, 5 million in the middle.
Have you ever seen a player try to represent the 6 multiple barrels?
Well, before a 6 was even the right
Yeah.
card to rep is the thing. He started betting a straight very early in this hand. Now he's repping like he's had a 6 all along. Man, oh man, Randy, I don't know.
This is tough.
Badziakouski has made some great calls in this tournament. I don't know how you're supposed to fold top pair here, even with this action. I really don't.
It's so hard. Let's think of some. Let's try to put some logic in the hands that he beats. 8-9, Jack 8, Jack 9 are the obvious candidates. Because the other hands, like those inside straight draws, do have may pick up a pair and might just check it. Wow, he lays it
Badziakouski
down.
does lay it down. Sometimes I wish I could turn off the whole cards. Sometimes I wish I could just play it from one player's perspective. It's very difficult. Min raises to 320,000.
10 seconds.
This is not a pre-flop raise bluff. Badziakouski. He's going to take 3 off the top of the deck with 8-6 of diamonds. He does flop middle pair, checks it. 1 diamond as well.
Jetten is going to fire. Just a little bit. Little tease. Mikita weighing his options. He doesn't have much time left. Going to start with a call.
Is that 1 time bank chip left for Mikita?
A 1-time bank chip.
And that will start to affect his decision-making process eventually. And good thing he got scooted into a call there because he has just turned to pair aces, no good. And there's just absolutely no way for Jetten to be scared of this board.
That looks like the safest card in the deck.
It is such a safe-looking card. It doesn't even put a flush draw out there. Completes no straight draws.
Half pot going in.
Oh boy, 700,000 being fired into the abyss unless somehow Peter Jetten can catch up on the river.
All in.
He is going to shove. Should be a snap call from Jetten. Okay, he is like, really? You're going all in now?
I mean, look, that's his version of a snap call. There it is. Cards are on their backs. Jetten was shorter to start the hand. 5 on the river.
Yeah, you cover him, you cover him, you cover him.
That's the correct laydown.
Plus, there's always a chance an insane cooler happens. Like pocket sevens versus ace-jack
Oh, man.
between number 1 and number 2.
This is so interesting because Mikita actually has 30 big blinds right now. Jetten has 4 big blinds. That might influence the action. Mikita might want to play it slow, but then again, he might think Kenny's going to bully him because of that. That's why he's just limping. He wants to keep the pot as small as possible. So he is going to make the raise. 700,000. It's a super big raise. What do you do here if you're Mikita? Do you call? Do you jam? There's a chance Mikita shoves here thinking you're going to fold 80% of the time.
How about that?
All
How about
in.
that triangle?
Wow.
Bryn Kenney puts his cards off to the side. He has got a decision to make. If Kenney makes this call and Badziakouski goes out. Oh my goodness,
God.
there's the call. We are flipping for basically this whole tournament. Peter Jetten
His eyes lit up.
is going to be in for half of his stack on the next hand no matter what happens here. These two are flipping for what amounts to hundreds of thousands of dollars in real money equity, perhaps even millions.
I think it's millions. Everyone is standing up, but the player's in the pot.
It's a great spot to be in to not be a part of this hand.
Happening right now.
Badziakouski at risk, and he is flipping for millions. Sevens are holding. Badziakouski looks like he's about to black out. 9 high flop he needs to hit, or he will be out in 4th place. The turn is a deuce. 1 card to come. The river. It's a deuce. That's it. Badziakouski Busto in 4th place.
Good game, man.
Oh boy, Peter Jetten. What say you? Just laddered up.
$300,000 pay jump. Bryn Kenney's got 105 big blinds. Danny dwindled down to 7 big blinds. He has 1.1 million in chips. Peter Jetten's got 6 big blinds.
Bryn shoves 10-9 into Peter Jetten's King 6. Jetten calls. He's the favorite.
4 side. We need 4 side, guys. 4 sides.
Will it be Peter Jetten? Let's see the flop. Well, it's looking pretty likely to be Peter Jetten now. Just 3 outs will save him. I can't even picture a good sweat card because a lot of them improved Bryn's hand as well. That river card is another queen. Peter Jetten finally succumbs to Bryn Kenney. All right, so we are flipping right now for the title and the trophy and $1 million. Not Bryn's first $1 million flip of the day, by the way.
So you need like a flush draw, 2 overs, and a straight draw.
Let's see those first 3 cards, dealer. Hey, that'll be a good one for Danny. Bryn now drawing to 2 outs. Still drawing to 2 outs, otherwise Danny Tang is going to double up. A 3 or not a 3? Not a 3. Double up Danny Tang, hey.
Like 1.410 or something?
Yes, 1.410.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with what, Randy?
1 mile. The close 1 step.
A 1 step.
Kenny calls. Danny is giving the free flops. Now that Kenny's seen Danny give him several free flops, he's just going to keep limping. Because why not? Don't have to risk your stack, and you can still win what's in the middle.
Bryn had Tang dominated. Again, flops middle pair. A new pair on the turn, this time for Tang.
Tang's going to think he's got the best hand. It's
He
a
is going
limp
to think
pot.
he's got the best hand with 3rd pair.
And he will probably go for value now, hoping to get called by a 4 or a 6. Bet 250,000.
I don't expect that Tang's going to go broke here, but he is going to lose a few more chips at least.
They did make it a little bit more. Tang calls.
And that is a full house now.
For no one.
I'm so sorry. I've been calling way too much trips now. I was combining Bryn's 8s with Danny's 6. Trips is still the best hand. 3 of a kind for Bryn Kenney. My eyes just seriously crossed and I just put the 2 hands together.
But Kenny's trying to decide what to bet to get called by a 6 or a 4. There is a club draw on the turn, so he can represent some pretty bad hands. Gonna go for a ton of chips. He knows that everyone has seen him make big bluffs.
1,145.
Just bet some big number with a decimal.
$1.145 million. This is half of Tang's remaining stack. And Tang, you know, from his perspective, he's just been getting pushed around this whole heads-up match.
That's very true. Like, if someone's been going all in against you a lot, you feel like they're bullying you, and you might need to hero call down, and you start convincing yourself, well, there's like clubs, 10-9, 7-9. You didn't bet the flop. Do you really have a king? Makes the call.
Makes the call, and that is going to put Danny in the exact same position he started off this heads-up match. He's going to have 8 big blinds.
This one should be an all-in a call. It should be.
Guess what, Randy? We don't have to predict it. All we have to do is say what happens.
That's right. Kenny
All in.
is
There's
going
the
to
all
shove.
in.
Call.
And the call from Kenny. Danny once again, his tournament life on the line. Bryn Kenney once again poised to win if he can somehow beat the ace high.
That's just my read. Deck read.
Bryn's reads are usually pretty good. There's your flop. Not far off, Bryn. Not far off at all.
Like no diamond though. What the hell?
How did he do that?
Yeah, this is perfect. 1 heart, no diamond.
Deuce.
So like to keep it straight would be like a 7 of hearts.
Dealer. Yeah?
Face card would be decent though.
Low, low, low.
Keep it low.
Low, low,
That's
low.
Danny
Don't
Tang.
make
He's
me
gotten
dead
his wish
with the
every
Tang.
single
The
time
rock
so
is boring.
far.
Yeah, that's boring.
Not low enough. That's it.
That's
Not straight for
That-
Bryn Kenney.
With a redraw to the straight flush.
thanks.
Doesn't get there. Doesn't matter. Straight on the turn. Danny Tang, well done, man. What a fantastic run the last couple of days. A real Cinderella story. This guy